In Texas in 2020, a survivor recounts the plight of humanity. She reflects on the stark reality that humans, once the epitome of civilization, have been reduced to mere pests. According to her testimony, the Clums descended upon Earth with a clear objective: the complete extermination of humans and the plundering of their heritage and culture. The Clums established breeding facilities for the surviving humans, turning the land into a grim tableau adorned with the corpses of the dying. Defectors from their ranks described the situation as a torment worse than hell itself. The Clums launched successive waves of slaughter upon their arrival, while simultaneously erecting massive structures that emitted methane, shaping their own atmospheric conditions. In order to cultivate their crops, they callously eradicated the native plant life, triggering a rise in global temperatures and catastrophic urban flooding. Adding to the devastation, the vermins, as they are known, waged war by igniting forests, creating an environment where breathing became impossible, especially for those in close proximity to the stacks. Once the Clums establish direct eye contact with their targets, a chilling ability is triggered. They possess the power to infiltrate their minds, rendering them immobile and helpless. By gaining control over their victims' cerebrum and limbic system, the Clums effectively enslave them. In the aftermath of this horrifying ordeal, human survivors sought refuge underground or within abandoned structures, scavenging for enough sustenance to sustain themselves while gathering the strength to resist. Coming together as an organized group, they armed themselves with whatever materials they could acquire, determined to wage their battle against the Clums. The primary weaponry of the Clums consisted of nanites, which they stockpiled in their arsenals. Despite facing overwhelming odds, the resilient resistance fought with unwavering determination to free humanity from the oppressive grip of the Rakka. Embracing unity, individuals from diverse races and backgrounds joined forces, united by a shared purpose: the elimination of the Clums and the attainment of their own freedom. Conducting daring raids to liberate captive humans and gather crucial intelligence on their adversaries, they bore witness to the dehumanizing treatment inflicted by the Clums. Humans were reduced to mere objects, subjected to cruel experimentation, and callously discarded when deemed expendable. Sometime later, a prisoner endures excruciating torment as the Clums subject him to a series of grotesque experiments, reducing him to a pitiful state where he pleads for release from his agonizing suffering. However, the Clums derive sadistic pleasure from his pain, callously observing his torment without mercy. In a separate encounter, the Clums come across the president of a particular nation, their hands raised to summon an unknown device that allows them to penetrate his skull. They proceed to infuse his mind with enigmatic alien cells, initiating a transformative process that leaves him a puppet-like entity under their complete control. Exploiting the president's compliance, they manipulate him to coerce the remaining humans into surrendering their weapons, employing the facade of peaceful coexistence as a diversionary tactic. Unbeknownst to the Clums, their true agenda involves the extermination of any surviving human beings. Conscious of the Clums' deceitful methods, the resilient survivors maintain their vigilance. At this crucial moment, Della, one of the survivors, takes a daring gamble by feigning surrender, despite being encased in explosives. Tragically, the Clums see through her ruse and heartlessly trigger the detonation, eliminating her in a ruthless act. Unbeknownst to the Clums, Dawson, another escapee, has already activated the detonator switch on one of his traps, setting in motion a chain of unforeseen consequences. As time passes, the air resonates with the joyful cheers of the children, their spirits lifted as they proudly display a severed limb of a Clum. Though their numbers are few, this small triumph offers a glimmer of hope to the human resistance, albeit fleetingly. Alien entities unleash an oily substance, haphazardly dousing human structures. In response, the resistance erects mental barriers to shield themselves from the Clum's insidious mind control. However, the Clums understand that limited resources will result in a scarcity of these barriers, granting them the advantage and paving the way for their conquest of Earth. Confident in their endurance against the remaining humans, they anticipate a protracted war of attrition. On the opposing side, the Clums exploit female prisoners as surrogate incubators, sealing their inevitable fate. In due course, the Clums execute a devastating airstrike, decimating a convoy of militia. Amidst the ensuing chaos, a lone soldier manages to escape, bearing witness to the manifestation of a celestial being reminiscent of an angel. materializing from the ether with an akin to the dancing northern lights. After the cataclysmic events, a few days elapse, heralding the emergence of a transformed world. Nosh, a skilled pyromaniac and resourceful bomb maker, thrives amidst the altered landscape, residing in a secluded scrapyard, far removed from the Resistance's fortified enclave. His exceptional talents prove indispensable to the opposition, as he ingeniously fashions an array of contraptions from discarded materials, ranging from explosive devices to cerebral locks. In due course, Jasper, the leader of the Resistance, a woman enhanced with cybernetic augmentations, and her team venture to Nosh's dwelling. Their objective is to procure weapons from him for their own purposes. When one of the team members expresses interest in obtaining a brain lock, Nosh, with a tinge of regret, informs them that such an item is not available for purchase, causing frustration to well up within the inquirer. Recognizing the gravity of their circumstances, Jasper engages Nosh in a conversation, conveying her understanding of their needs and proposing a mutually advantageous agreement. She assures him that everything has a price, and they are willing to compensate him accordingly. In response, Nosh divulges his contentment with the clum's arrival, as it affords him the liberty to indulge in his fiery passions without the specter of legal consequences or the fear of imprisonment. As Jasper delves deeper into Nosh's affinity for fire, he cryptically unveils his acceptance of an eventual demise, embracing the consuming allure of the flames. The members of the Resistance hold a profound disdain for Nosh, given his perverse enjoyment of violence and his outrageous demands, which involve using the wounded or desperate as bait in his numerous IED ambushes. However, they reluctantly comply with Nosh's conditions to ensure the safety of the IEDs and brain barriers he creates. Jasper acknowledges that such an arrangement would be illogical in times of peace, but in their new world, where anything is possible, they have no choice. In Sector 7, the Resistance comes across Amir, a former Clum captive who successfully escaped. Jasper approaches him, offering reassurance that he won't be harmed and extending assistance in any way possible. However, one Resistance member advises Jasper to eliminate Amir due to the enigmatic implants in his head. Despite opposition from her subordinates, Jasper firmly orders them to cease their actions and releases Amir from her custody. She entrusts his well-being to Sarah, another member of the Resistance. As Sarah endeavors to convince Amir to join the Resistance in their fight against the Clum, she provides him with sustenance and refreshments. She discloses that his precognitive abilities, acquired through the Clum's experiments, could be of immense value in their cause. Meanwhile, Jasper and her lieutenants attend to the wounded, witnessing the grotesque modifications inflicted by the extraterrestrials upon the deceased humans. Upon reuniting with Sarah, Jasper becomes resolute in uncovering the truth about Amir's condition, prompting her to cautiously attempt to remove his covering. Initially resistant, Amir eventually relents, granting her a glimpse of the extensive cybernetic enhancements that envelop his head and shoulders. The new world has irrevocably transformed them, and Amir has emerged as something entirely different. As night descends, the soldiers engage in rigorous drills, sharpening their skills and preparing for the impending battle. Sarah guides Amir through the exercises, elucidating their mission to resist the Clums and prevent them from inflicting further harm upon others as they had done to him. A sense of curiosity arises among the lieutenants, leading one of them to question Jasper about Sarah and Amir. Jasper discloses the heartbreaking truth that she lost her daughter to the Clum's experiments while carrying Amir in her womb. She speculates that they may possess an inherent predisposition, unwittingly serving as pawns of the Clums. Nonetheless, Amir has undergone a remarkable recovery, both mentally and physically. Through the capabilities bestowed by his implant, Amir experiences a vision of a wounded Clum eluding capture by the militia forces. Sarah fervently implores Amir to aid the militia officers in their efforts to put an end to the genocide. As their conversation deepens, Amir becomes aware of a transformation within himself, as his eyes undergo a change, and his visions of the impending attack grow increasingly lucid. Amir, still devoid of speech, undergoes a vivid vision where the militia executes a daring assault, leveraging advanced technology and cybernetic enhancements to bring down an alien aircraft. With the Clum pilot now in retreat, Sarah confronts Amir, raising doubts about their capacity to acquire the necessary knowledge to track and instill fear in the Clums. Though unable to respond verbally, Amir receives a potent vision revealing the Clum's employment of telepathic force to manipulate a militia soldier. Disconnected from their brain barrier, the soldier succumbs to vulnerability to mind control. Rising to their feet, the manipulated soldier seizes their weapon and unleashes a barrage of fire upon their comrades, compelling the remaining soldiers to respond with lethal force, ultimately ending the compromised individual's life. Sarah apprises Amir of his newfound possession of the Clum's abilities and emphasizes his responsibility to utilize them for the betterment of humanity. In a subsequent scene extracted from the vision, the militia encircles a Clum, prompting Jasper to issue the command to sever its head. A brutal and intense battle ensues, resulting in substantial casualties on both sides. Nevertheless, the human resistance successfully infiltrates Rakka's stronghold and implants a device aimed at crippling the Rakka's communication and control systems. Tragically, numerous resistance members meet their demise during the operation. The movie reaches its culmination as Sarah implores Amir to embrace his newly acquired abilities, firmly believing that he embodies humanity's final glimmer of hope.